After the age of 70, you should avoid eating these 5 items no matter how hungry you are. 5 foods that are harmful to your health after the age of 70. Did you realize that around the age of 70, certain foods that you have always consumed can become quietly dangerous? The human body goes through significant transformations as we become older. The digestive process becomes more sluggish, blood vessels grow more rigid, and the immune system reacts less effectively. Despite this, a significant number of us continue to consume the same meals that we have always consumed, oblivious to the fact that some of the most ordinary foods can now put strain on the heart, cause damage to the kidneys, and even interact with the drugs that we rely on. For the purpose of this video, we are going to discuss 5 foods that older individuals should steer clear of, regardless of how hungry they may be or how delicious they used to taste. Your body can be harmed by each of these in ways that are not immediately obvious, but can become rather serious over time. It is possible that these commonplace things are causing more harm than good, as they have the potential to cause harmful drug interactions and raise your blood pressure. I want you to stay with me to the very end because there is a strong possibility that one of these delicacies is still in your kitchen. And being aware of what to avoid could very well help you maintain your strength for a longer period of time and prevent you from having to visit the doctor. Let's get started. Is the first, processing meats. That piece of bacon is processed. For example, the sausage patty that you throw into the skillet. These can appear to be straightforward comfort foods since they are good, quick, and familiar. In contrast, processed meats become more than just a salty delight after a person reaches the age of 70. As a result, they pose a significant risk to your cardiovascular system, your blood pressure, and even your brain health over the long term. The salt content of processed meats is really high, and it is not just a little bit. It is possible for a single serving of breakfast sausage or deli turkey to have excessive amounts of salt, beyond what your body requires for the entire day. Not only does this overload cause thirst, but it also causes older folks to feel thirsty. The blood vessels, which have already lost some of their flexibility as a result of aging, are put under further strain here, consistently experiencing an increase in your blood pressure, even if it is only by a tiny amount, causes your heart to exert more effort. Over time, the more work you do can cause your cardiovascular system to become worn out, increase your chance of having a stroke, and even contribute to cognitive decline by limiting the amount of blood that flows to the brain. On the other hand, it's not only the salt. The majority of processed meats are preserved with nitrates and nitrites, which are chemicals that are used to increase the durability of the meat and improve its color. What exactly is the issue? As soon as these molecules enter your body, they have the potential to decompose into substances that have been associated with inflammation and, according to some studies, certain types of different cancers. Larry, who is now 74 years old, used to consume a couple pieces of salami and crackers every afternoon. He used to do this rather frequently. That was a regular occurrence for him. However, following his second small stroke, his physician emphasized the need of his regular salt consumption, and those bite-sized morsels of flesh were a significant component of it. Within a few months, his blood pressure returned to normal when he made the adjustment to meals that contained little salt and fresh proteins. The problem with processed beef is that at first glance, it does not appear to be harmful. That is not a problem. In the short term, it does not produce any symptoms. On the other hand, it gradually erodes the systems that are responsible for keeping you standing, thinking, and breathing. In the event that you continue to miss that wonderful flavor, there are other solutions available to you. Lean slices of fresh turkey or chicken, grilled or roasted, plant-based proteins that do not include any additional preservatives, or modest meals of unprocessed fish, such as salmon or trout, which are beneficial to the function of the heart and brain. At this age, the food you eat ought to actively promote your health rather than subtly undermine it. In addition, when it comes to processed meats, even a small amount might become excessive over the course of time. Better fuel is something your body deserves. You should give it that, and it will give you power in return. First, breakfast meals that are high in sugar. And that bowl of cereal in the morning. The frosted muffin or pastry that you eat with your first cup of coffee. Particularly in situations where one's appetite is weak or one's energy levels are running low. They may feel like a reassuring way to begin the day. However, after you reach the age of 70, these varieties of sugary breakfast foods have the potential to become one of the most detrimental aspects of your daily routine. This is the reason why the body's ability to control blood sugar levels starts to decrease around the age of 70. Insulin's effectiveness decreases over time. At the same time that the metabolism slows down, blood vessels become more sensitive to the effects of sugar. When you begin your day with a surge of sugar, whether it comes from sweetened cereal, pastries, or even flavored yogurt, it causes your blood sugar to spike quickly and then drop severely. Your pancreas and your heart are both put under stress as a result of that surge. As a result, inflammation is exacerbated. At the same time, it increases the likelihood that you may develop insulin resistance or that your diabetes will become worse over time. However, that is not the end of it. A number of studies have demonstrated that memory is also associated with frequent rises in blood sugar levels in older persons, as well as a more rapid deterioration in cognitive ability. You might not immediately feel the effects of the harm. Over time, however, consuming a breakfast that is high in sugar can result in feelings of exhaustion, hazy thinking, increased appetite later in the day, and progressive weight gain, particularly around the abdominal region, which is strongly associated with an increased risk of cardiovascular disease and stroke. Carol was a woman who was 76 years old and she was known to have cereal first thing in the morning. It was simple, quick, and had a pleasant flavor. However, she became aware that she would collapse by 10 o'clock in the morning, feeling exhausted, fuzzy, and hankering for more sweets. Early-stage prediabetes was discovered by her physician after he conducted some testing. Her energy levels restored, and her blood sugar level remained stable once she made the move to a breakfast that was high in protein, such as eggs, whole oats, or Greek yogurt that did not include any sugar. In point of fact, the majority of boxed cereals, including those that are branded as healthy or natural, are loaded with added sugars and refined grains that burn quickly, but deliver absolutely little nourishment that is sustained over time with them. And what's worse is that pastries are even worse because they contain a lot of sugar, white flour, and frequently trans fats, which are bad for the heart and hinder digestion. Instead, you should begin your day with foods that provide you with consistent energy and are not sweetened. A smoothie made with greens and a spoonful of nut butter, scrambled eggs with a slice of bread made with whole grains, or oatmeal topped with nuts or berries are all examples of nutritious breakfast foods. This supper will nourish you without causing you to crash. Even if you still desire something sweet, you should have it in moderation after a meal rather than as the meal itself. Rather than giving your body a sugar rush that it will have to spend hours recovering from. Give it a gentle wake-up call. I would appreciate it if you could use the second comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. The third item is raw sprouts and eggs that are not fully cooked. When you put a handful of sprouts on your sandwich, they appear to be harmless. A breakfast consisting of a gentle cooked egg. However, these two seemingly harmless foods can have risks that younger bodies might be able to handle without any problems for older folks, particularly those ones who are over the age of 70. Aged immune systems, however, are unable to. Conditions that are warm and damp are ideal for the cultivation of raw sprouts such as alfalfa, mung, bean, or radish sprouts. In the same conditions, Potentially harmful bacteria such as Salmonella and E. coli were found. E. coli thrives after becoming contaminated. These little greens have the potential to bring bacteria directly to your plate. And because they are often consumed raw, there is no heat to eliminate the pathogens that are there. Similarly, eggs that are not fully cooked offer a risk. There is a possibility, albeit a very small one, that salmonella is hiding inside the egg if the yolk is still runny or if the white has not yet completely solidified. In a few days, even a light bout of food poisoning can swiftly spiral into dehydration, hospitalization, or even worse for someone over the age of 70. This is in contrast to the ability of a healthy adult to recover from mild food poisoning. What is the reason? As we become older, our immune defenses naturally become less effective. Acid production in the stomach is reduced. A slower movement of food occurs in the intestines. In addition, our reaction to microorganisms is not as keen as it used to be for us. Therefore, a modest dose of germs that a person who is 30 years old might never notice might produce an illness that lasts for days or even weeks in someone who is 75 years old or older. An individual by the name of Dennis, who was 81 years old, had a passion for adding raw sprouts to his tuna salad. He believed that they contributed both crunch and nourishment. After only one lunch, however, he was admitted to the hospital and remained there for 4 days, battling a salmonella illness that left him feeling weak and confused. The sprouts that were purchased at a nearby market were found to be the source of the contamination. Moreover, it is not only about falling ill from it. What matters is how long it takes to go back to normal. When it comes to elderly people, a case of food sickness might result in a loss of appetite, weight loss, an electrolyte imbalance, or falls due to dehydration. A defect that appears to be quite trivial can suddenly manifest itself in other aspects of your health. So what is the more secure alternative? When you have finished cooking your eggs, be sure that both the white and the yolk are firm. Make sure to use pasteurized eggs if you prefer your eggs tender. And with regard to sprouts, you should either completely avoid them or boil them before consuming them. In addition to preserving part of the crunch, microorganisms can be eliminated with a quick sauté. When it comes to raw food, exercising caution is not about fear. Protecting your strength, maintain your stability, and maintain your independence is the goal here. In order to keep your health for this long, you have put in a lot of effort. Neither a garnish nor a soft yolk should be allowed to undo that. The fourth item on the list is grapefruit and grapefruit juice. You could be taken aback by it. Grapefruit is a fruit that appears to be beneficial to one's health, as it is low in calories, high in vitamin C, refreshing, and light. On the other hand, this fruit has the potential to subtly and potentially harmfully interfere with the way in which your body processes medicines, particularly for older persons who are taking prescription medications. There is a chemical found within grapefruit that has an effect on the way your liver breaks down certain medicines. The problem is not with the fruit itself, but rather with the compound. This substance inhibits the activity of an enzyme known as CYP3A4, which is accountable for the metabolism of a wide variety of commonly used drugs. Because grapefruit inhibits this enzyme, it can allow the prescriptions to remain in your body for a significantly longer period of time than they were intended to. This can lead to the accumulation of the medications in your system, which in turn raises the risk of adverse effects or toxicity. What's more, it's not only unusual pharmaceuticals. Some antihistamines and pain relievers are also included on the list of medications that are prescribed for high blood pressure, cholesterol, cardiac rhythm issues, anxiety, and other conditions. The majority of elderly people take these medications on a daily basis. Therefore, that one glass of grapefruit juice in the morning could subtly magnify the effects of your medication, causing your heartbeat to become erratic, your blood pressure to drop too low, or your liver to become overworked. An individual by the name of Evelyn, who was 78 years old, was a person who took a cholesterol prescription each morning. Grapefruit was another thing that she ate with her breakfast on most days because she believed it helped with digestion. The statin she was taking was known to cause her to experience muscle soreness and exhaustion, both of which she began to experience over time. Following a check of her diet, her physician quickly brought the grapefruit to her attention. She was able to alleviate the symptoms when she quit consuming it. The challenging aspect is that this contact does not always occur in the same way. You could consume grapefruit for weeks without experiencing any visible side effects. But then one day, your medication level reaches a threshold, and you begin to experience symptoms such as dizziness, nausea, or a peculiar lack of strength. What is the most prudent action? Ask your pharmacist or doctor if grapefruit is safe for you to consume if you are already taking any medications that require a prescription on a daily basis. Alternative fruits, such as oranges, apples, or berries, should be selected in the event that there is any uncertainty. That won't compromise the effectiveness of your medication in any way. We are not going to be demonizing a fruit that is good for you. With our bodies changing as we get older, it is especially important to respect the way that food and medicine interact with one another. You have the right to make sure that every medication you take provides you with the maximum benefits without any hidden hazards. Please take a moment to check before you proceed with the process of slicing that grapefruit or pouring that juice. It is be that this one habit is the covert cause of all of the adverse effects that you did not anticipate. I would appreciate it if you could use the fourth comment section below to let me know that you are continuing viewing this video and that you are finding these insights to be helpful. I strongly suggest that you subscribe to the channel and activate the bell if you have not already done so. This will ensure that you do not miss any videos. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. Let's proceed with our plans now. In fifth place, dishes that are deep-fried. The color is golden. They have a wonderful aroma. Foods that are deep-fried can be difficult to resist, whether it be French fries, fried chicken, or even a donut that you get from the cafe every once in a while. But these delicious luxuries come with substantial risks that the majority of people never see coming. Especially for older folks, especially those who are above the age of 70. Fried foods are frequently prepared using oils that are either contaminated with trans fats or have been subjected to several high-temperature cooking processes. The structure of the fats is altered as a result of this process, which makes it more difficult for the body to process them. The presence of these damaged lipids is known to cause an increase in inflammation, an increase in bad cholesterol, and a clogging of arteries, all of which are harmful to the hearts of elderly people. On the other hand, the risk does not end at the heart. In addition, there is a correlation between eating fried foods on a regular basis and having poor digestion, insulin resistance, and an increased risk of developing certain cancers. When consumed by older persons, whose metabolisms are slower and whose digestive systems are more fragile, these foods have the potential to remain in the body for a longer period of time, which can result in bloating, weariness, and even acid reflux. There was a man named Harold who was 80 years old and he had a passion for going to his favorite fast food restaurant only once or twice a week to get a little order of fries. It appeared to be harmless. However, as time went on, his cholesterol levels gradually increased, his digestion became more difficult, and he started to experience feelings of lethargy. After reducing his consumption of fried foods and substituting them with vegetables that were roasted or steamed, he experienced a resurgence of energy, as well as an increase in his desire to consume healthier meals. The serving size is another concern that is not readily apparent with fried dishes. Although a tiny serving might not appear to be a concern, it frequently contains additional salt, sugar, and processed carbohydrates, which transforms a quick snack into a triple threat for your heart, brain, and blood sugar than it would otherwise be. Thus, what other options do you have? At home, you could try baking or air frying the dish. It is still possible to experience crisp textures even if you do not use deep oil. Alternately, You might use roasted sweet potatoes or steamed greens for fried sides. Additionally, when you are dining out, search for alternatives that are grilled or broiled. Later on, your body will be grateful to you. However, the satisfaction that you have from food should not come at the expense of your circulation, digestion, or daily energy. Should you decide to exclude foods that are deep fried from your diet, you will most certainly observe more than just improved laboratory findings. You will have a sense of lightness, clarity, and greater control over your health. Your body has been treated with care, which is how you have made it this far. The moment has come to fulfill that promise with each and every mouthful, each and every option, and each and every dish that you serve. Lastly, some thoughts. The one that is Mina Nawa. For Tia's term, take a time to reflect on the meals you consume on a regular basis as we get to the end of this film. What percentage of these 5 foods have you consumed without giving them a second consideration? Perhaps for years, as part of your daily routine? In some cases, it is not the major events that have a significant impact on our health, but rather the routines that we engage in on a regular basis. To tell you the truth, becoming older does not involve giving up anything. It is about selecting what is most beneficial to you, what nourishes you, what helps you maintain your equilibrium, and what provides your body with the best possible opportunity to continue to be strong. Additionally, knowing what to leave out is equally as effective as knowing what to include in your content. Not only have you earned the right to take pleasure in your meals, but you have also earned the right to safeguard your body against foods that no longer provide it with anything of value. Because at this point, each and every option is significant. Would you mind telling us if there was a food on this list that took you by surprise? Have you been consuming it without being aware of the dangers it poses? We appreciate you being here with us today. It would be wonderful if you could get in touch with us. Please leave a comment below and tell us about one item you discovered today and how you intend to put it to use in your life right now. We place a high value on your opinions, so please do not be reluctant to share them with us. Our inspiration and encouragement are greatly increased as a result of reading your remarks. I would appreciate it if you would like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it to be informative and enjoyable. With your assistance, we are able to continue producing high-quality content that will both inform and inspire you. We appreciate you taking the time to watch, and we hope to see you in the future video.